Hi, fifth graders. Today I'm going to do a quick review of how to estimate the quotient with a two-digit divisor, and then how we use the estimate that we get on this slide to help us find the exact answer when we're dividing by two-digit divisors. So when we're estimating, the first thing we're going to do, remember, is to round our divisor. So we want to look at 23 and we say, is 23 closer to 20 or 30? And it is closer to 20. So we type that in, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in all of the places for my divisor for the rest of my work because I know it's going to be 20 from now on in my estimation. Step 2 is to underline the first two digits of the dividend because we are going to find a compatible number. Remember, compatible means they go well together. So we want a number that goes well with 20. What that means is when we divide our number by 20, we don't want to have a remainder. We want an exact answer that we can get quick, okay? So in order to do that, we are going to list our multiples of 2 until we get really close to 33. So this one has a few extras, but it should be pretty simple because we're just counting by 2's. So 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. So we're just counting by 2's until we get close to 33. Oops, that's wrong. That's 16. It's 26. 28, 30, 32. All right, 32 is very close to 33. So that's the compatible number I'm going to use. Now that doesn't mean I'm just typing 32 here because remember, we're in our thousands and hundreds place. So I'm going to turn this from 3,300 or 3,345 into 3,200, 3,200. So now I'm doing 3,200 divided by 20. Remember that since we have now multiples of 10 in both of them, we can get rid of one of those zeros. We have a 0 in the ones place in our 20, so we can cross that off, and then we can also cross off a 0 in the ones place in 3,200. So now we're doing 320 divided by 2. Well, if we know that 32 divided by 2 is 16, that means 320 divided by 2 is 160. So now that I know this, I know that when I go to do the actual division to find the exact answer, I'm going to have a quotient that goes all the way to our hundreds place. And our quotient should be somewhere close to 160. So I'm going to go to the next slide, and I see the same problem right here. 3,345 divided by 23, but I'm finding the exact answer this time. So we noticed on the estimation slide that our quotient is going to go to the hundreds place. And that is because 33, if I highlight my thousands and my hundreds, is larger than 23, meaning I can give hundreds to each of my 23 groups. So over here with our show our thinking, what we're going to notice is that if I look at 33 and I want to know how many groups of 23 can I make from 33? And I think, okay, so 23 times what is going to get me as close as I can get to 33 without going over? I use my number sense there and I think, well, it's definitely only one time because 20 plus 20 is 40, and that's a lot bigger than 33. So I'm only going to be able to do 100 here. So to show my thinking, I'm showing that I know that 23 times 1 is 23, but we are in the hundreds place right here. So I'm doing 23 times 100, which is 2,300. This 100 right here is a partial quotient for me. I know that part of my quotient is going to be a 1 in the hundreds place, 100. When I'm putting 100 into each of those groups, I'm using up 2,300, so that's what I subtract. We subtract like normal here. 5 minus 0 is 5. 4 minus 0 is 4. 3 minus 0 is 0, or sorry, 3 minus 3 is 0, and 3 minus 2 is 1. Okay? So I'm done with the hundreds place, and now I'm moving on to the tens place. So I'm going to highlight to my tens place so you can see what we're looking at. We're looking at 104. I want to know how many groups of 10 I can put into those 23 groups if I have 104 tens. So if I count by 20s, I would go 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and I have 104. I'm guessing, though, that it's going to be only 4 groups because 23 is a little bit bigger than 20. So I'm going to try 23 times 4 over here to see what I get. 3 times 4 is 12. So I'd put my 2 here and I would carry a 1 up here. I'm going to keep that one in my head. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. So I'm putting a 9 there. I don't need this extra box. I was just looking at it thinking, why is that there? So I don't need that one. I'll get rid of it. Okay, so 23 times 4 is 92. And that's as close as I'm going to get to 104 without going over if I'm counting by 23s. So I'm going to put that right here. 23 times 4 is 92. But then I have to remember I'm in my tens place right here. So I want to move that over to my tens. Well, 4 tens is 40. So what I'm really doing is 23 times 40, and that's 920. This 40 is, again, our partial quotient. That is part of our answer. If I have $3,345 and I'm splitting it into 23 groups, I can give each group 40. Well, 140. Okay? So I have a 4 in my tens place now, a 1 in my hundreds, a 4 in my tens. And then I'm going to subtract the 920 that I used up to give each group 40. 5 minus 0 is 5. 4 minus 2 is 2. 10 minus 9 is 1. Now I have 125 left. Okay, well, that's bigger than 92. So I'm going to go ahead and try 23 times 5 because I want to get as close as I can to 125 without going over. I want to know how many groups of 23 can I do. So I'm going to do 23 times 5. 5 times 3 is 15. I'm keeping the 1 carried in my head over here. 5 times 2 is 10, plus the 1 that I carried is 11. So that's 115. I'm not going to get any closer to 125 than that. So I know that 23 times 5 is 115. I put that 5 right here in my partial quotient and also in my final quotient. Because remember, these numbers should add up to our final quotient. And I'm subtracting what I used, which was 115. And then I subtract to see what my remainder is. 5 minus 5 is 0. 2 minus 1 is 1. And 1 minus 1 is 0. Our remainder should always be smaller than our divisor, and it is. So we had 10 left over. Our final answer is 145. Remainder 10. So then I can go look and I can see my estimate was 160. 145 is close enough to 160 that it's a reasonable answer that I should have a remainder of 100 or an answer of 145 and a remainder of 10. Okay, so that's how we do our long division, and that's how we show our thinking when we do it. So go ahead and you guys are going to do these on your slides.